Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Alpha Freeman. I'm coming straight live from Frankfurt, Germany. It's definitely a great honor and privilege to be on the show this morning for me here. Nevertheless, I have a guest that's from all the way in Australia. She's literally almost 13 hours away from where I'm at right now. But again, it's a great privilege to have her on the show. Today is the next generation of business talk, and I'm going to go more in depth in regards to entrepreneurship, sales, training, and coaching. I'm going to introduce my guest here in a couple seconds, but please understand that in today's show, I want to make sure that I tap into some of the key components and understanding what it means to be an entrepreneur and what it means to be a sales trainer. Right. Today I have here with me Misty Henkel. She's from Australia. She's a great woman, a great mother, of two boys, and definitely a great person that can help you with all your coaching needs in regards to business, in regards to sales training, and also a great friend. Nevertheless, go ahead and introduce yourself, Misty. I'm here for the ears.
Hi, so I'm Misty Henkel. I'm a sales trainer. I live in Queensland, Australia. I'm a wife. I'm a mum of two boys, got two golden retrievers, so pretty busy. And I run online sales classes. So my goal was to teach sales all over the world. And I had planned to travel from place to place and talk from stage. But I suppose when COVID made everybody stay inside and gave us Zoom, well then I do get to teach all over the world. I just do it via Zoom most of the time, and the travel aspect, I get it every now and then, but it's less in today's current world. So yeah, so you fit in with whatever life gives you. Like an entrepreneur, right? You just kind of got to fit in with the rules of life as you do things.
Nice, nice. And I'm happy to hear that, honestly. Like, tell us about your day-to-day life, in regards to, being a full-time mom and also being a sales coach on the side and doing all these things, because it seems as if you're like the trainer of the world, talking to people all around the world, everything.
My biggest secret is this: work while everyone else sleeps. Get up early, get a lot done while everybody else is sleeping. So I run So I do a lot of coaching or sales classes early in the mornings. Might get up at 4 or 5. Well, I get up about 4, but I might be coaching from 4 o'clock in the morning. So for most days from 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, you can really knock out a couple of hours worth of work. Then the kids get up, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on a weekday, organize them in whatever way to get them ready for school. And then once they've gotten organised for school and they've had breakfast, I usually get a chance to get another coaching session or a sales class in while they get up early enough to have breakfast, get ready for school, and then they want to get on media. So while they're on media for an hour or an hour and a half, I get to do another sales class. So it is done with organisation, but there is negotiation of time. The kids want the media in the morning. They just have to be ready. They get the media. I get sales class, and then I come out of sales class and they get off the media and get them to school. I'd like to say it's always harmonious. It's really not necessarily. But, for the most part, as a mum, you got to kind of just, roll with the punches and make it work. So, yeah, I've got nothing against bribing the children with media in order to get my work done. Give them what they want, and they tend to be pretty quiet about allowing you to have what you want. And so then I have to run rules around work. So if I don't want them on media, I just have to make sure it's outside of my work time. And they're cluey enough now, like as a sales trainer, I'm, teaching sales. So I teach sales and negotiation, obviously. So the boys have learned ways around it. If you're on media, then we should be on media. Yes, but I'm working. Yes, but you love it. So if you love it and are doing this thing that you love, sitting in front of a computer, then we should have time to do what we love, sitting in front of a computer. So, and how can I argue with that? So yes, they do sell me on a few things because I can't really argue with them. It's true. I love what I do. And I am in front of a computer. So, they get to have their turn as well. So it's more just a matter of working out how to fit in around that, knowing that they're going to sell me some ideas. And when they've got a sales trainer for a mum, you get really good at selling the idea, like really good at it. So on the other hand, as a sales trainer and a salesman, when I want my way, that is usually my excuse to the boys. There is no point fighting me on this. I'm a sales trainer. You cannot win because I will outlast you. Because that's sales, right? You've got to outlast the other person in order to win.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what got you into the whole sales training? Because I know how long have you been doing it for? How many years have you been doing it now?
Yeah, so sales training probably since 2002, but as my own business since 11 years. So what are we at 2000? About 2012 as my own business. Before I used to just do it like inside of all the other sales jobs that I was doing. I would just, I had a knack for getting other people to start selling, whether they wanted to or not. And it's actually come up at a business networking event just recently. The question was asked of each person. They had to do an elevator pitch and it was asked, what's your superpower? And I was left to last because half the people in the group know me and might come to sales classes or know me from some other business networking things. And the other half didn't know who I was. So by the time it got around to my turn, the person who was running the event, the host, she said, and Misty, what's your superpower? And then she giggled and she said, but I mean, it's not like I don't know it already. And then someone else in the group said, yeah, I know what it is. And someone else said, I know what it is. So it allowed me the opportunity to hear what their thoughts of my superpower is. And so one would say, well, it's your ability to break down sales and make it super simple and easy. Someone else said it's confidence. You give people confidence. You give them empowerment. You do all these other things. So it's interesting to listen to each person's version of my superpower. But my superpower actually falls into my ability to teach any person on the planet how to sell, whether you want to or not. And that's really what it is, right? Is the reluctant salesman. I'm so good with the reluctant salesman, the one that says, I'm not a salesman. I don't have the gift of the gab. I can't do what you do. I can't do what they do. I don't have the ability like other people. It's true. I do break down sales and how to sell so simply that against your wishes, if you do not want to sell against your wishes, you still hear the message and go, bugger. I'm not going to be able to turn that off now. Like I'm not going to be able to sell. Like now that I know what it is. And the secret really, Alpha, the secret to selling really is this. Learn to say what you do and say the price. That's it. If you can say those two things really fast and really simply, anyone can choose to buy. It's when you don't say your price, that's when sales start to go somewhere else and it takes on this whole other thing of like, oh my God, the customer, you know, where we start as salesmen, we start to invent stories. Our refusal to say the price or our inability to say it really simply. So when I teach people how to sell, I always start with, tell me the price of that thing. And they'll start with, oh, well, you see, it's kind of, yeah. So I didn't ask that. I just said, what's the price? And once people start to say the price, now it allows the customer to go, oh, now I know what it is. Now I can make a decision. And when the customer can make a decision to buy, it means the salesman has done their job properly. And even the most reluctant person says, oh, I think I just sold that thing. That was kind of easy. And so, yeah, even the most reluctant salesman ends up going, actually, I think I can do this. Yes, I think you can too. So that's my superpower, teaching anyone how to sell.
That's awesome. And I think it's a really good superpower to have. Nevertheless, it's something that reaches out to people and gives them the inner superpower to figure out that you can capable of doing anything that they want to do. You know, I also want to piggyback on the fact that as a mom, you know, how are you able to not only juggle all these, you know, things that you're doing, but nevertheless be able to be that super mom that you are in a consistent way.
Right. I remember my husband saying to me many years ago, so when the kids were little, when they were like about 2 and 3 years old, right, Simon decided to quit work, stay home for 2 years with the boys and pull them out of daycare and just hang out with the boys. And then, the eldest one turned 5 and Simon went back to work. And then I had to quit work and then stay home with the boys. And Simon said this to me. He said, it's really easy to hang out with the boys and stay with the boys and just be home with them. So long as you decide that you are never going to accomplish anything ever again for the rest of your life, it's really easy to stay home with children because your day is completely run by what they want to do. And if you want to do anything, forget it. So if you want to make dinner, it's probably not going to happen. If you want to vacuum the house, it's probably not going to happen. If you want to get the laundry done, that's probably not going to happen, which did explain why after I worked all day at work and would come home, so wouldn't have a few that you think, oh, well, you were home. Why couldn't dinner be cooked? And why couldn't, why wasn't the house vacuumed or the clothes put away? He said, it's just really easy. He said, just fit in with what they want and assume you'll never do anything ever again. So I took that on board and thought, actually, that does sort of sound right. But then how do you get done what you want to do? Well, one is understand that role. You're going to be run by the kids 100% of the time, or at least 95% of the time. So you got 5% to utilize that. That's why I get up early and I do things early in the morning. Some people do the late thing. They get up later and then they do the late thing. Find it that doesn't really work for me. Plus, children are unpredictable. You don't know when they're getting up in the morning. So I like to beat them so that if I'm organized, then I can already start the day, ready to go. The other side of it was, so being a wife and a mum, and I've got boys, right? So Simon's man and then, the boys. So basically I've got 3 boys, like 3 men in the house, right? And men are different to girls. Right? Girls tend to be a bit more standoffish and I can do it myself. Whereas men are like, I want you around. I actually like you. We like having women around. Like women are nice. So we like having you around. We don't necessarily want you for everything, but we want to know that you're available. And so to fit in around that, to still accomplish my stuff as an entrepreneur and as a mom, was it was easy to just sort of look at the world and go, pretend you're a single mom and just do everything. And if you get up, as single moms have to get up early, they have to get everything done. And then they flop around with the kids and whatever else has to be done. Kids go off to school and then they get other things done, right? So I thought, if I pretend like I'm a single mom and do all these things, then I'm now available at the times when they want me, and I become available at the times when Simon wants me. And then since then, 3 years ago, the boys bought a golden retriever, which apparently is the mom's job to do something with. And then we acquired another one. So now ultimately 2 big dogs and 2 kids and and a husband. But also I've got a very structured lifestyle. Like it's like when I get up, when it's going to be breakfast, what's going to be for breakfast, the order of which things are done. It's quite structured. So it allows me to get lots done in a very short amount of time. The children want to have media. So to make that happen, they have to get up early, make their beds, open their curtains, get dressed for school, read for 30 minutes, have breakfast, pack their school bag. Now, it sounds like a lot of things, but in actual fact, you take out the reading, the rest of it takes less than 15 minutes. So in a 45-minute to 60-minute time frame, the boys are completely organized for school. They can have as much media as they like until 8 o'clock when I finish my classes. They generally get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get everything done before 6. They have 2 hours of media. So because it's done so structured, but now they get up early, get super ready early, and then, then we can fit in, they can fit in what they want. I can do what I need to do. And then I can move into the next section. Then the next section between 8 and 9 is do whatever's necessary to, one rides to school. So sort that one out. So he rides to school, give him the kisses and cuddles, and off he goes. The other one, I drive to school, pick up a couple of other girls, might have to sort out the dogs a little bit, take them for a quick walk around the block. Just it's little things, but inside a 1 hour time frame. Get the kids to school, get back. And then certain things in that next section of the day. And then I really don't plan anything after the school time. So school pickup is at 3. So by 2:30, nothing is scheduled after 2:30. most days, because I've discovered once the kids get home, well, the day could end up anyway.
So would you say like, what is like your typical schedule that you work with? Do you have like a fixed schedule that's like, it has to be waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
Um,
mine's at 4. Mine's at 4. Wake up at 4, take the dogs for a walk, and plan to have a shower and wash your hair before 5. If I hadn't had a shower and washed my hair before 5, I cannot guarantee that I can get to the shower at all for the rest of the day. So if you don't get it done in that first section, it's probably not getting done. Because you're on Zoom, nobody knows. I know I'm stuck in the office, but nobody else knows. So then I have to sit there and go, well, if I didn't get to the shower and have a shower, then I might know about it. But I just have to let go of that, because there might not be a chance for the rest of the day.
right.
And that's it. So you just have to accept that some things aren't always going to work out exactly as you want, but hey, if it does, that's great. And it depends. If I've got coaching from 5 o'clock in the morning, then yeah, you've got to be super organized between 4 and 5, or just decide to get up that bit earlier, right? Get up, get organized, and then jump into coaching. And so, yeah, so I run a very tight schedule in the morning up until, so in the morning, then on a school day, I do stuff only in that school time frame after I drop the kids off at school and before I pick them up. And then I keep most nights, so I keep the rest of the weeknight free, because the children might want me for different things. And of course, I'm organizing dinner, taking dogs for walks and things like that. So, but I'm available to talk to them. So then I just leave that bit open. And then on weekends, because I love what I do, like I love it. I treat it like a hobby because I can't get enough of it, right? So if you treat it like a hobby, you get to do it whenever you feel like. So the kids stay up late on a Friday night. They stay up with Simon. They'll watch something. They could stay up 10 o'clock, midnight. They could, I don't know when they go to bed. I go to bed. I don't know when they go to bed, right? But I get up again at 4 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And I can run coaching sessions from 4 right up until lunchtime. And I tell everybody, I'm not coming out of the office until lunchtime. Do whatever you like, because this is my time to do what I want uninterrupted, however I feel like it. And so I could be at coaching sessions, I could be at networking events, I could sit in a chair and be sleeping. It doesn't matter. I do whatever I like. And then Saturday afternoon, I find out what everybody else wants to do. And most of the time I've got Saturday afternoon off because everybody wants to do their own thing. So I can run it however I like. And Sunday I just leave open for whatever shows up. So it's mostly hanging out with the family, making dinner and lunch and school lunches. And
Nice. I see like, it's such a very busy schedule, so much going on, honestly, on a weekly basis. How are you able to maintain this without having to, overcome any burnout, or just say,
okay.
because this is a lot here.
Notice what I don't do.
All
At
right.
no stage did you hear me taking the boys to and from sports.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear no sports.
Yeah. So they don't go to sports and they don't play music lessons and they do that. I'd like for them to do that. They don't want to. So I don't force them to do anything they don't want to do. So there is actually 2 days during the week they want to go to the gym. One time, well, it's outside of school time. So one's in the afternoon, but I leave my afternoons free. So I can take them to the gym on an afternoon, and on one Friday morning, 6:30 in the morning, but they're already up. So I just have to drop them off at the gym and then pick them up. I live in a small town. There's 8,000 people here. So it's only 3 kilometers from one side of town to the other. It's a 5-minute drive to sort of anywhere in town. So that makes it easy. If they did want to do sport, well, it's going to have to be in that afternoon time frame when I'm not going to organise anything. But I don't fight with the kids about what they do and don't want to do. My youngest, he's 11 now, and he's musically gifted. Like he hears sound really well. And so I've said since he was really little, music and languages will be his thing. And so I'd love to get him into music and languages. He's also not a team player. So, karate, gymnastics would be good. Team sport's not his thing because that involves, helping other people in the team win. That's not his space, right? he doesn't like to help anybody win. He wants to be the winner and that's it, right? He's 11. You know, the other one, Jack, he's in Scouts, so I can take him to and from Scouts. And so, you know, we do things. Jack and I go to the movies a lot. He loves the movies. So we do the movies, we fit that in. But I don't overburden me or anyone else with these rules of these things that have to be done. Noah says to me, I said, you know, I'd love for you to play the piano. You played it for a bit and you're actually quite good at it. And he said, but he can't learn it during school time. There's no teachers at school that can teach him the piano. And I said, well, you know, if I find a teacher, he said, why would I do that in the afternoon in my personal time? He explained to me that. He said, well, you and the world makes me go to school 6 hours every day learning stuff I have no interest learning. So the things that I do want to learn are only available outside of school time. But you've already made me have 6 hours of time that I'm not interested in learning stuff. Why would I then take up more of my time learning extra things just because I want to? When do I get a chance to sit down and relax? And, you know, I can't argue with him.
True.
So, so my kids have this way of, I don't know, getting what they want or not what they want. And I let that happen. I look at everything in life. It's like an experiment. Like they say, kids learn best in that first 18 years. I don't know. I believe that they do, only because they've got nothing else to do. They can learn well. Anyone else can learn as well if they dedicated that much time to it. We usually have life and work and families, so we don't have that much time to dedicate to, I don't know, learning a language, playing the piano well, you know, getting good at karate. Not like a child does, because they don't have those extra responsibilities. But on the other hand, you know, our kids will probably live to about 100 years old. It's not like they don't have time to get good at anything.
Right.
They have a lot of time. It's just you've got to look to structure it differently. That's all.
I wanted to understand something here. And the next question comes down to not only as a business sales trainer, but for any moms out there who are currently, you know, having a hard time juggling both the business world and the mom world in regards to figuring out a way how to like actually find a plan that works best for them, you know, in a consistent basis. What advice do you have for them, you know, speaking to the moms out there right now?
Well, I think a lot of people feel that they have to, if you're going to have your own business, you have to be on all the social media channels. So you have to advertise on the social media channels and you have to advertise all these different ways and trying to get in clients. The hardest thing with being an entrepreneur is getting in clients. That's the hardest part, right? Because you've got to advertise to make that happen. Of course, once you make that happen, you've now got to deal with the client, but then you've got to deal with advertising to get more clients. So I look at things as just components, right? My advertising method is networking. That's it. That's my main advertising method. I have Facebook and I put up some pictures of the dogs playing, you know, and I put up some things of the kids and, you know, some videos and I put some sales stuff up every now and then. So I go on there and say, hi, how you going? And people know who I am, right? I have LinkedIn. I don't really know how to use it, so I ignore it entirely. I've chosen not to have an Instagram account at all because I don't want to get stuck over there. I have a YouTube channel, which I post up videos every now and then, sales stuff, and then sometimes, you know, the dog's playing. So I don't really run by a huge set of rules. I look at it and go, well, I'll just come up with a very small set that worked for me. So for my YouTube channel, I'm a bit eclectic as a sales trainer. I'm a bit eclectic all over the place. So therefore I don't have branding. I don't have a website, but I do go networking and I send emails out and Google knows who I am. I show up on other people's podcasts. I help people all the time. I've got pictures up there. I've posted some things on a Google business page and on YouTube. And so as a result, I seem to show up and I let go of what everybody says about you must be on social media, you must be on Facebook, you must be on LinkedIn, you must be on Instagram, right? And you must have a website. Now, I don't disagree with these platforms, but you don't have to be on all of them. I've chosen networking. Someone else might choose Facebook. So if you choose Facebook, just choose to learn how to get what you want from Facebook. but you don't have to be everywhere else. And so if you pick a platform to stick with your advertising, you'll find that there's more than enough clients sit anywhere based off one platform. So Facebook, to run Facebook, they say, you've got to put up some posts that are like, that says nice things about you, and then some that's, asking them questions, customers questions, and then sometimes there's a sales post, right? And then someone will comment, and then you need to be commenting back and forth. I say this, post whatever you like on Facebook. When somebody comments, go back through Messenger, go into their account, see who it was, friend them, go through Messenger and start a conversation. Just let you know, I sent you a friend request. You commented on one of my posts. See if they respond back. But start a conversation with someone. Don't just keep doing things online thinking that the customer's going to buy. You've got to pull them into a separate conversation and get into a personal conversation with someone. But if you think of Facebook, I can ask anyone. Let me ask you, Alpha, about how many friends do you reckon you've got on Facebook?
I don't know off the bat. I don't know how many I actually have. I can't tell you the actual number, but it's people I went to school with, people work.
Yep. But about how many? I mean, yeah, I know. And then you get strangers, like someone who knows someone who knows someone, and then someone said, "Oh, we should be friends," and you press the button by accident. Okay, I'll become friends with you too. So yeah, how many do you reckon you've got? Do you know? 500?
Not really.
200? Yep. Okay. So I can ask anyone, right? There's usually a few hundred there, if not 1,000, right? LinkedIn, I can do the same. I can ask people, how many people have you got on LinkedIn? Could be 200, could be 500, could be 1,000, could be more, right? Notice, Instagram could be the same, right?
Right.
I've acquired on Facebook maybe 1,500 people over 11 or 12 years. I don't know who they all are, or I may have at one time, but of course I've lost contact with. So I've probably met them somewhere, we've become friends, and then I've never seen them ever again. And then there's some that I thought we knew each other. So I said yes to that friendship. And then of course there's some where you just say yes because you're linked to like 700 other people that seem to know the same person. So there's some that you say yes to. You don't tend to do much with these people. But the truth is it's an entire network that you could do something with. And at any one time, when I ask people, how many customers do you want? Would 100 be enough? Would 200 be enough? Would 500 be enough? We can find them on any platform that we're on. They're there. And we're probably already linked to them. But do they know what you do? Becomes the question.
Because I want to understand something there in regards to, as a sales trainer, as a sales coach. Just walk me through here, with the audience, in regards to how you got started. What really got you into this position, that made you the super sales trainer that you are today, talking to people from all around the world.
Okay, so started as a salesman, so I was a barmaid from 18 to 27. So started selling beer and food, and then moved into furniture sales, sold Apple computers, worked for the Patent and Trademark Office, so selling trademark applications. So I've worked in many different fields, and worked in coffee shops, worked in jewelry shops. So done a lot of retail sales and hospitality sales. And I've always liked the idea. So in Australia, working in hospitality, you don't earn tips. You kind of do now, but not like America, not like Canada, not like other places, right? But I always liked the idea of watching movies and going, oh, I want to earn tips. I'd be great at it. So I honed my skills to be like the greatest barmaid ever on the planet, so that if I was ever working overseas, I could rake in all the extra money. So get paid to be there, but I'd get all this extra money because I'm really good at making people love sitting in a bar and staying for heaps of drinks, right? And to eat. So I thought I'd be really good at that. So I did that for 10 years. And then these other jobs, the furniture job, it's commission. So you get a wage for doing your job, and you also get a commission for going above and beyond in your sales. Apple computers was the same. Patents and trademarks, that was a job. So with all of these, I would find, so I loved sales, I always have. All of these jobs, there was no sales training with these jobs. It was on the job learning. So customer comes in, you learn to sell to them and you do it. Customer comes in, you don't sell to them and you just learn along the way. And I read books. So I would read sales books. I'd hunt down sales books and I would practice what I read in my job. And I would be working with other salesmen or other, barmaids or whatever. And I'd say, hey, could you try this? And I'd get them to try things that I was reading up and learning too. So I wouldn't just run experiments. I would get them to run experiments too. When I was selling furniture, I would often get sent to some other stores. I would thought that it was someone went on holidays and they needed a spare staff member. But usually when I got there, it was, this person's not performing so well. Can you either make them start selling or give us what we need so that we can move them out? And I would get them to start selling, but I wouldn't ask them to. I just had a little knack of being able to get people to do it. And I had one girl who, her only job, this is the only thing I said for her to do at the beginning of the week, was, and she never sold a single thing in the whole month she'd been at the store, which was brand new opened. And they had this big opening sale day where everybody was selling $20,000 or $30,000 worth of furniture, each person in the store every day. And she went 4 days and didn't sell not even a cushion. She sold nothing. And so they wanted to move her out. And I said, I worked with her for one day and I said, this is what I want you to do before you talk to anyone, before you pick up the phone, before you talk to a colleague, before you talk to a boss, or before you talk to a customer. In your head, say 3 times, I am in charge, I am in charge, I am in charge. That's it. And then you talk. And that was the only thing I got her to do. And by the end of the week, she took a $5,000 sale off me. With good reason. She said, you're not going to be here to deliver it to the customer, whereas I will be. So I'll be lifting the lounge into the truck. You won't be. It's my sale. Fair enough. And by the end of the year, she was still at that store and she was the #1 salesman for that store.
Wow.
And yet it doesn't seem like sales training, but for her it was. She was just not confident with everybody else. They seemed so big and special. Hers, she only had to just learn that she was just as big as special. And if I fixed that bit in her, the rest of it worked itself out as well. Absolutely. So I would have this way of moving people around. So then 11 years ago, have children and I'm at home and I know that I want to teach sales and I still love selling and networking came about. Well, back in 2002, I went to my very first sales seminar in 2002 and the guy who spoke, I still remember most of his talk, but he used to travel all over the world teaching sales. And I really loved what he was saying. I thought, that's what I want to do.
Right.
It took another 10 years to go from wanting to do that and honing my skills in what works, what doesn't in sales. And I reckon in those 10 years, it was about add-on sales. In hospitality, you serve the person who walks in, sell them as much as you possibly can once they've come in the bar, because they may not come back again. Furniture stores, same thing. When they've come in, you sell them everything while they're in the store because they might not come back again, right? And you don't know who they are. Then I discovered 10 years later, so going back 11 years ago, I discovered networking. And that's where business networking is, where you go into a venue. It's like a wedding reception. You turn up, everybody's having a drink. But at a wedding reception, 2 or 3 people might be standing, talking, having a drink. And if you go up to that group, you don't know who anyone is. They tend to sort of go,
who are you?
And they keep talking and sort of look over, right? And it's all very weird and awkward. At a networking event, right, you go up to a group of people who are talking and they stop what they're doing. They open up the circle, they let you in, and they say, hi, how are you going? Who are you? What do you do? Like, you'll never be in a room where people are so interested to find out what it is that you do and what it is that you sell. Right. And to me, that's the secret to selling, is if somebody actually wants to hear what you do and what you sell, when you learn to say it, they have the chance to go, oh, I think I need that. Or, oh, I think I know some people who need that. The opportunity stands right there because everybody's talking about the same things. What do you sell? What do you sell? What do you sell? And so that's how then I started doing the sales training the way I do now through networking events. It was really how to use networking as a sales tool It's the secret sauce to all selling, really. And so I went from there. But yeah, I've always liked the idea of earning my own, being in charge of my own money. Anyone can work in a job, and I do believe in that too. You do have to work in a job to get certain skills, but you get to a point where if you want to be in charge of your own money, you've got to know how to work in a job for when you want to, but also how to bring in extra cash for when you want to. And so as a sales trainer, that's what I teach, how to know what you're doing, that you can sell anything at any time. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I wanted to know, because I know over the years, you gained so much experience and so much knowledge and being able to communicate with people. What is one thing you would tell my audience member in regards to that allowed you to be successful over the years in doing what you're doing as a sales trainer? What is that key component that you practice on a daily basis?
Yeah. Is cut down your thoughts of what it is that you want to do. Think of one thing that you want to sell. It's really delete bright and shiny syndrome. I discovered it many years ago. A coach said to me, said, Misty, you're so easy, you're so predictable, you've got bright and shiny syndrome. I'm like, what is that? And they said, it's where you're excited by all these thoughts and ideas and you want to do everything and you start heaps of stuff, but you finish nothing. And I've gone, oh my God, that's so true. I don't finish anything, but I start so many things. But I said, how do I stop this? And they said, just pick one thing and that's it. Delete everything else. And really, that's the secret. Even over the years of teaching sales, I would teach a sales class that was only supposed to go for an hour. 4 hours later, everyone would be sitting there. We'd all be busting to pee, right? And we'd still be sitting there. And I'm like, why has no one stopped me? And they've gone, like, this is really good. But I'd end up with giving out so much information. They'd be writing notes, but they'd leave and wouldn't know where to start because they got so much cool stuff. And I would do, the word is flooding. I just flood and flood and flood people, and they couldn't do anything. It's like a book, right? So I had 2 sales books. So I wrote 2 sales books, right? People said, oh, why don't you have it in a book? And so I eventually got around to writing 2 books, right? This one, look how thick it is. It's 5 chapters, 1 topic, how to get noticed in the marketplace, you can make more money. 1 topic, 5 chapters, that's it, right? Each chapter is like a sales class.
Where can we find those books? Is it on YouTube?
From me.
From you?
No, yeah, from me. So so you just have to email me. I've got the easiest email, mistyhenkel@gmail.com. I'm easily found on Facebook. I'm the girl with the crown. So for those who are watching, I'm the girl with the crown, right? I'm the only Misty Henkel in the world, Henkel. I'm the only Misty Henkel in the world, but I have a crown. So you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, you just send me a message. Can I have a copy of the book? Books are $30, Australian dollars, free shipping all over the world. But this one here, right? How to go from no sales to sales in 5 easy steps. I kid you not. It's 5 chapters, right? 1 topic, 5 chapters. So it's like 5 classes in 1 book. Now, here's the secret, right? Because you asked, how do you do this? There's no flooding in this. People read either of these books and go, oh my God, that was so good. I'm doing what's in the book. I have these other brilliant sales books, right? But like outside of my book, this is the #1 sales book that I recommend to everybody, the 10X rule, right?
What is that about?
Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, you can just Google him, you'll find him anywhere, right? It is, I kid you not, the book is 220 pages long, right? It's amazing. There's so many great ideas in there. You hear what I said? So many great ideas in there. I recommend this book to people all the time. They go, oh yeah, I read it. Well, how much of it did you do? Oh, no, it was really good. Yeah, you didn't do anything in it. That's the problem with sales books. They're full of heaps of great ideas, and then nobody knows where to start. I mean, with Grant Cardone's books, you only have to read 1 chapter, any chapter, and decide to do what that 1 chapter is, and you will make sales. Any chapter. You don't even have to read the whole thing. You just open it up on any page, read the chapter, do what it says, and you will make sales. But that's the problem with entrepreneurs, is we get excited by all these thoughts and ideas. And so even with sales training, I've cut my sales training like, write down Sales books, coaching, group classes. That's it, right? And I make, for me, my price is really simple. Sales books, $30, coaching, $25, group classes, $150 for 6 months, right? It's about, all my classes are about the price of a book, right? I learned through books. I teach through the price of a book. And, but I keep it so simple that either you want practice. If you need practice at selling, you go into group class. If you need fine tuning, you have a coaching session. If you want to learn it while everybody else is sleeping, you take a book.
True.
So it's about selling less, but to more people. And sales exists due to the volume of people that you help. If you help more people, you will end up with more sales all the time.
So what, because this is amazing, and just to hear, your enthusiasm in being able to sell things to people. Because you always have that salesperson you see at the store who's just talking, but it's just like, okay, buddy, where's the enthusiasm what you're selling? And I can see the passion in your voice and being able to resonate that not only in what you do as a sales drone, but also helping people to gain that positive energy and able to do the things that they want to do, and also have that positive mindset to continue doing what they want to do. My next question comes down to understanding your why mechanism in regards to why you do this.
When I was about 12 or 13, I read this quote or line or proverb, or I don't know, it might have been on a calendar. And it said this, sort of said something like this. It said, any good I can do, let me do it now, for I may not pass this way again. And based off that, and well, I like sales, right? And I like money, and I think everybody should have money, as much money as they want, like all the time, right? So, because money helps you do all sorts of things. You can look after a family, you can have a family, you can look after other people, you can help the economy, you can do things that you want to do. So we need it. I mean, money is second to breathing. If you don't have money, you've got a really hard life, right? So we do need it. And so I believe we're all put here with a particular gift or interest that we're supposed to help others with. Mine happens to be in sales, right? But it could have been anything, but mine happens to be in sales. So the way I see it is based off that line, any good I can do, let me do it now, for I may not pass this way. Like, let me help now, because I may not come this way again. It's really, that's what I do in the spot and in the moment. I fix somebody. I'm looking to help somebody right now who needs help with their sales stuff or with their business, so that they can sell something, and then I can keep going forward. I may not come backwards that way. So if I can't help you right now, so I look to just help no matter what. Whether you pay for it or not, I will give you the answers what you need. I find most people, I give the answers to everybody all the time. The people who pay are the ones who go, okay, I know you gave me the answers, but I still need help running the solution. No problems, right? And ultimately, that's how it works for everybody. We can get knowledge anywhere, and it's free. It's the help that people pay for. And so I let go of all rules of charging people for the help that I give. Just help people along the way, and people will help you back by paying for that thing because they need extra help or deeper help, or they need you to stop and help longer. But ultimately, it comes from that proverb. Another little one that I use when I try to filter out my time and sort of work out what's important and what's not is another one. This one was from a calendar. It said, don't put off tomorrow that which you can cancel outright. See, it's not the line we're used to hearing. It's usually, don't put off till tomorrow that which you can do today. But actually, don't put off until tomorrow that which you can cancel outright. If you keep putting something off, have a look at it. Do you need to do it at all? I did this with LinkedIn for a very long time. I kept saying I was going to learn to use it. I was going to learn to use it. And then I eventually just said, okay, I'm going to ignore it for an entire year and I'll revisit in January. I do this every year. I've done it every year for 11 years. It's gone, let's not fill our mind with LinkedIn this year because it's taking up too much time. I'll relook again in January. And if I feel enough in front and LinkedIn will help, I can revisit. But then I don't revisit it for the whole year. and I let it go as well.
That's amazing. I and I really do enjoy listening to you, because it's your voice itself resonates. Like you're selling me something right now, basically. You know, I know people, when they're listening to this, it's like, okay, who is this woman? How can I get a hold of her? What is it that gives her the enthusiasm, that why to get up every morning and just do what she does and have a beautiful crown on her head, be the sales queen that she is on a consistent basis. And I think it's something that, you should be happy and proud of, because I think a lot of people are actually looking forward to listening to this and seeing not only how they can manage a business, but also manage a family on the side. And I think you've done a really great job on that. That's something I just want to congratulate you on a personal note here, Misty. Honestly.
Thank you so much. So you can do it. You can do it all, but you have to decide not to do it all. Like that's how you do it. You decide to let go of the rules, not follow the rules that everybody else suggests that you should follow. You get to hear everybody else's rules and then decide that rule will work for me, that rule will not. That rule will work, that rule will not. That one I'm going to negotiate out a little bit. Timing in your calendar is important. If you've got kids, right? If you're a mom and you've got kids and they have to get ready for school, then you can't schedule anything in around the time that it takes to get them ready for school. If they're ready for school, you can schedule some stuff in while they're sitting quietly doing their stuff, right? So I let go of like society's rules of, how many hours should a kid be on an iPad? Mine probably way too long, but I schedule it around the other things that they do have to do so that then I can get my stuff done as well. So I still give them their personal time. That's how they want to use it. In my day, I used to read. So what's the difference between reading and looking at an iPad? I'm sure people can tell me lots of differences, but ultimately reading was for my personal enjoyment and escapism. An iPad does the same thing with a child. I still want them to read because, it's hard on the eyes, but maybe reading is hard on the eyes too. I don't know. But yeah, so I have rules and I have structure. It looks like I don't have any of it. I just have it set into time frames and I let myself off the hook a lot. And so some of those things is, so I have a lot of people who say to me, when's your self-care time, Misty? Like, I never see you do anything that's self-care. You're always doing stuff with kids and you're always working. My work is my self-care. If I don't do my work, I'm not shining. That's why I treat it like a hobby. So I love it so much. That's my shiny personal time. So I make sure that I have to get some of that in. It makes me a shiny, happy person. Now, for other people, if you find that your work is hard and it's not making you shiny, then you need to have some other sort of downtime as well. So I get to double dip because I really love what I do, and that's what makes me shiny. That's my self-care. So this work-life balance, work-life balance. Well, my work is my life. That's my dream and my thing. So I look after my dream and I have to fit it around the children's dreams and my husband's dreams and the dogs, right? So got to learn to sort of do both. But yeah, it's an interesting topic. We could talk for ages on it. But ultimately, I sometimes have coaching sessions on there. So people say, how do you fit so much in? It is structure. It really does come down to structure, but it does come down to knowing how to structure it and then follow the structure. And I've spent years pulling together the structure. So I look like I get a lot done. Trust me, I've got a lot of spare time too, like where I wish I was getting more done. And then other days I get nothing done,
I do have one last question here before I let you go. And for the audience member for the Next Generation Business Talk, ideally the idea is to connect the old and new, you name it, in this whole business world that we all live in it. Whether if you're an entrepreneur, or a sales trainer, or a coach, or whatever platform you fall into, what advice do you have for the young kid or young woman who wants to be in your position to have that queen also mechanism in her currently? Take it away.
Networking, 100% networking. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically it's collecting. Networking is writing down the name of every person you ever meet and keeping hold of that, right? So your network is all the people that you meet along the way. So at school, you know, you write down the people from school, your friends and your enemies, you get to write them all down. Doesn't mean you'll do anything with them. Later in life, when you're in a job, write down all the people that you're working with, right? I recommend business network for anyone who is, as an entrepreneur working business network. There is so many free groups. They're all over the world. I run a group called Business at Breakfast. And it's 2 free online meetings every week. There's another group that I'm in. It's called Happy Neighborhood Project, and it's comes from America, but there's about 55 free networking events every week inside this group, an hour long each one. And so networking doesn't have to cost anything now. Now that it's on Zoom, it's a lot of stuff is free, but at it, you'll meet all these different people. Collect the names of the people and their contact details and write a big long list of who they are, and ask them to things that you're at, find out what they do, let them find out what you do. But even as a student, like for a young kid who's going to be a student, if you start business networking now, before you need clients, when you need clients, you go back to your network and you let them know. So if you were going to be an accountant, going to university to be an accountant, it'll take 4 years to become an accountant. So you collect all these people say, I'm going to be an accountant, I'm going to be an accountant. And here's what happens over 4 years. People say, I can't wait until you finish your degree because you're going to be my accountant. And it doesn't matter who they have before, because they get so excited by the person that's standing in front of them, wanting to be an accountant, that they go, I want to be your client. I want to be one of your first ones. It could be a financial planner. It could be a hairdresser. It doesn't matter what it is that you're going to do, but if you collect these people. My Jack, who's he's going to turn 13 next month, and he wants to work at the local movie theatre. Right. So he goes in there, he goes to all of the movies. We talk to the people there and said, you know, Jack's planning on working here. And well, last week, you know, depending on what movies there are, but some movies, I give him on the day that it opens up at the theatre here, he gets half the day off. So he'll go to school. I'll pick him up at lunchtime. We'll have lunch together, and he'll either, if it's a Marvel movie, he'll go by himself. But Fast and the Furious, we went, Fast 10, we went and saw that one together. So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when no one's in the movies, we're there researching. How can you say you work at the movies if you don't go watch the movie, right? So then he gets to talk to the owner of the place and say, I plan on working here in another month's time. But ultimately, his resume, he's young, so he doesn't have much to say in his application form, except to say, these are all the people that I'm friends with. And these are all the people who I'm going to tell, who I tell all the time, have to come to the movies. And these are the prices I've told them that it costs. And this is what they need to buy from the candy bar. And this is how much they need to spend when they come to the movies. And this is when they need to come. Now, who do you hire? Someone who knows the job, or someone who's looking to bring in clients to the place where you're working at?
True.
And so the truth becomes, you earn money if you can bring cash into a place. So for a young kid, for him to get a job over anyone else, it'll be based off who he's planning on bringing in to pay money on the shifts that he's working. He wants to be 100 feet in the cinema. He wants the cinema busy on the nights that he's there. So he's busy. So really, that's the secret, is networking. Start writing the list of the people you know. When you're doing something and you need clients, you go back to your list and tell them, this is what I'm doing now. Do you need that? This is what I'm doing now. Do you need that? This is what I'm doing now. Do you need that? Let's say you become a mechanic. I'm a mechanic now. Do you need your car fixed? Just ask. And they'll either say yes or no. And it doesn't matter what the answer is, so long as you've got someone to ask.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us in the Next Generation Business Talk. Misty, you're an amazing woman, amazing mom. Continue being the great woman that you are and helping us in the business world. And also, nevertheless, you know, staying put with all the advices and everything that we have to talk about today. I'm going to have all the following information, Misty's email, also her contact information, I'm going to drop down below. Please feel free to subscribe, and also reach out to her and reach out to myself also if you have any questions regarding today's topic on generational wealth in regards to going from one sequence to the next, and also for entrepreneurship sequences. Again, thank you so much. My name is Alpha Freeman, and Misty, thank you so much for being my audience for today.
Thank you so much. I believe my children will say this. Make sure you press subscribe and like. That's a secret, right, Alpha? Right? Subscribe and like. There's no reason to watch it and then not subscribe and like. It won't hurt you. Subscribe and like. All right, then. Thanks, Alpha. I've had heaps of fun. Thanks for having me today.
Likewise, take it easy. Bye-bye.